Today we will continue with the history chapter, French Revolution. We have already done the introduction and we have seen that how French society was constituted during the late 18th century. Then we have also had a look at how the middle class rose and how the middle classes they were against the principle of getting privileges based on birth, and they thought that a man's position in society should not be based on birth but it should be based on merit. And we also read about the three philosophers here. All right, so who will tell me the names of these philosophers that we did yesterday, and also tell me the name of their books? So you can tell me the name of one philosopher and the name of his book. Likewise, you can tell. Yes. So who will tell?
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
John Locke and John Rosier. His book is named books. His books are named is Two Treatises of Government.
All right. So Locke. The name of John Locke's book is The Two Treatises of Government. You also mentioned Rousseau. All right. So what is the name of Rousseau's book? Who will tell me?
Ma'am, social contract.
The Spirit of
Ma'am, social contract.
All right.
Ma'am, the spirit of laws.
No, no, no. The Social Contract. The name of Rousseau's book is The Social Contract. This I told you yesterday. And who is the third philosopher mentioned here?
Montesquieu.
Okay, Montesquieu. The name of Montesquieu's book.
The Spirit of the Law.
Okay, The
Spirit
Spirit
of
of
the laws.
Laws. All right. Okay, what has Montesquieu written about in his book?
The he opposed the division of power within government
Powers
between
into the
legislative,
legislative,
executive,
executive,
and
and the
judiciary.
judiciary.
Beta, when one is speaking, then the other should remain quiet so that everyone can hear properly. Okay, so what has Montesquieu said? Was Chaitanya, you are answering?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in his book he opposed the division of power within the government
He opposed
between.
or proposed?
So proposed, ma'am.
Yes, proposed.
Ma'am, he proposed the division of power within the government between the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary.
Who is this with the name Harris? Yes, now your mic is mute. It is okay. Alright, so who has taken up, which country was the first one to take up the model which was proposed by Montesquieu?
Ma'am, USA.
Okay,
You
USA.
say,
Right,
Ma'am,
correct.
USA.
Okay, Rousseau. The name of Rousseau's book is Social Contract. What has Rousseau written in Social Contract? The main thing.
Communicated the idea forward, proposing a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives.
All right, so he wrote about that the government should be based on a social contract which is between the people and their representatives. All right, so what we are left with? We are left with Locke. What did Locke say in his book, The Two Treatises of Government? What did he write about?
Ma'am, sought to refute the doctrine of the divine and absolute right.
Okay, so Locke he wrote against the doctrine of the divine and the absolute right of the monarch or the absolute right of the kings. So yesterday we stopped here. We saw the three philosophers what they said. We had a look at their books and the ideas of these philosophers and thinkers. Now they were talked about, they were discussed in saloons and in coffee houses, and even for the purpose of those who could not read and write, these were read aloud so that they could also know. And now when the news that Louis XVI he was planning to impose further taxes, it's reached the people. Now it generated anger and protest against the system of privileges. Why against the system of privileges? Because they knew that again they only, the third estate only, they will have to bear the brunt of the taxes. Okay, so let's continue. Page number 8. The outbreak of the revolution. How the revolution it started. Now, Louis XVI, he was forced to increase taxes, and the reasons for this increase of taxes we have already done, and what were the reasons that the treasury was empty when he ascended the throne, and so he had to increase taxes, but you know he could not have increased the taxes on his own. Now why? Because in the old regime, the monarch or the king or the queen in France, now they did not have the power to impose the taxes alone. Just a minute. Alright, so the monarch only cannot increase the taxes. He did not have the power to increase the tax on his own. What he had to do was that he had to call the meeting of a body which was named as Estates General. Estates General. So he had to call the meeting of a Estates General, and this body will pass the proposals for new taxes. Now let's see what was this Estates General. It was a political body, and in this body all the three estates, the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate, they sent their representatives. Okay, first estate. First estate comprised of
Category.
clergy. It is clergy. Alright, church. Yes, second estate.
Nobility.
Okay, nobility. Third estate.
Big businessmen, businessmen, and peasants and small servants.
Listen, this is not the correct way to answer. Third estate, you should say that the third estate comprised of people. The third estate, it had three rungs: topmost rung, second rung, and then the last rung. All right, topmost rung. Who all were there on the topmost rung in the third
Businessman.
estate?
Ma'am, big businessmen, merchants,
Alright.
court officials, lawyers.
Okay. Then second rung.
Peasants
Artisans.
and
Peasants and
Artisans.
alright, peasants. Who are peasants?
Farmers.
Okay.
farmers.
Artisans. Yes, any idea? Artisan are people who do skilled work using their hands. Alright? Skilled workers. Alright? Which work using their hands. And the third rung?
Small peasants, landless servants.
Okay, so small, it is not peasants, it is peasants. So small peasants,
Small peasants, ma'am.
landless laborers and servants. They comprise the last one of
servant.
the third estate. So Estates General was a body, political body, to which all the three states, they sent their representatives, but the monarch, he only could call for a meeting of this body. So what few things we have learned in this paragraph, that the monarch, he alone could not raise taxes. Only the body Estate General, they could propose, they could pass the proposal for new taxes, and Estate General, it comprised of representatives of all the three states, of all the three estates, but the monarch, the king alone, he could call for a body of this meeting, for a meeting of this body, and the last time it was done, it was in 1614. So on 5th May 1789, see, last time the Estate General was called for a meeting. Now it was more than 100 years before, much more than 100 years, more than 150 years before. Alright, and so Louis XVI, he called together an assembly, he called for a meeting of the Estates General, and this was to pass proposals for new taxes. So a huge, glamorous, shining, resplendent hall in Versailles, extravagant hall in Versailles was prepared to host the delegates. And the first and the second estates, they have sent 300 representatives each, and these were sitting in rows facing each other on two sides. So for the people of the first estate and the second estates, seats were provided, and they faced on two sides facing each other, whereas the 600 members of the third estate, they had to stand at the back. So even seats were not provided for the people of the third estate. So seats were provided only for the people of the first and the second estate. They both had sent 300 members. They sat facing each other, and the 600 representatives of the third estate, they had to stand at the back. See how they were treated. They were not treated equally. They were not even provided seats to sit on. And so the third estate, it was represented by the richer and the prosperous, the educated members of their group. And so what that meant is that peasants, farmers, artisans, women, they were denied entry into the assembly. So peasants, artisans and women were not allowed to attend this meeting of Estates General. But the problems of the people, the grievances and the demands of the people, they were listed in about 40,000 letters. And these 600 representatives, they have brought with themselves 40,000 letters of grievances and demands. And they all got together. Now voting, if they had to pass taxes, then they had to take vote. Now voting in the Estates General, in the past, it had been conducted on the basis that each estate has one vote. Means one vote for first estate, one vote for second estate, and one vote for third estate. It does not matter, that means each person did not have one vote. So vote was according to the estate. So each estate has one vote. And now this time also Louis XVI, he wanted to continue with the same practice, that each estate had one vote. But members of the third estate, now they started to demand that from now on voting should be conducted for the assembly as a whole, and where each member should have one vote. Earlier what happened, like one estate has one vote, so obviously first estate and second estate, they sided together because both had privileges. So they always sided together, and the third estate was left with only one member. So obviously every time the first and the second estate, whatever they stood for, they won, and the new laws were passed. But this time the people of the third estate, they were like that, no, from now on voting had to be on the basis that each person has one vote. Now this way what will happen, like first estate has 300 members, the second estate has 300 members, and they had 600 members. So now they wanted that it should be on the basis of one person, one vote. And now this was also one of the democratic principles which was put forward by philosopher like Rousseau. So Rousseau, in his book Social Contract, we get to know one more thing about what Rousseau has written in his book Social Contract. So we have already done that. He had written that there should be a social contract between the people and their representatives. Now we get to know one more thing, that he has talked about the principle of one person, one vote. Now when but the king, he was not ready to accept this proposal. So when the king, he rejected this proposal, so members of the third estate, they walked out of the assembly. So king said that no, voting would be done only on the earlier basis like we had always done. So the people of the third estate, they walked out of the assembly. They said that no, now we won't be a part of the assembly like this. Now these 600 representatives of the third estate, now they viewed themselves, they viewed themselves that they were the spokesperson of the whole French community or the whole French nation. And so on 20th June, these 600 representatives of the third estate, they assembled in the hall of an indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles. So in Versailles, they gathered themselves in the hall of an indoor tennis court, and they declared that the name of their body, means these 600 representatives, they call themselves National Assembly. They said that they declared themselves National Assembly, and they said they took an oath. So they swore, they took an oath that they will not disperse from there till they have drafted a till they have written made a new constitution for France, and this new constitution would limit the powers of the monarch. Now till this time, the monarch has absolute powers, means his powers were not limited by a constitution. Now what is a constitution? Yes, anyone? Constitution. Come on, class 9th, what is a constitution?
Set of laws followed by a country.
All right. Okay, so it is a set of rules and regulations which is followed by any organization or even by a country. So what these people of the third estate, which call themselves National Assembly, they said that they will not disperse from here till they have made a new constitution for France, and this constitution will limit the powers of the monarch. What that means is that now he will be under a constitution. His powers would be limited by a constitution. Now he will not be an absolute monarch. He cannot do as he wish. He had to work according to the constitution. Okay. Now, who were the leaders of the National Assembly of these 600 representatives of the third estate? So these people, they were led by two men, Mirabeau and Abbassies. So Mirabeau and Abbassies. Now Mirabeau, he was of nobility. See, he belonged to the second estate. Mirabeau was born in a noble family, so he was of the nobility, but still he was convinced that they should do away with the society of feudal privileges. So he was against the system of feudalism. So though he belonged to the second estate, but still he was the leader, he was one of the leader of the National Assembly, and he was convinced that they needed to do away with the privileges which the nobles got. And he even brought out a journal, and he also delivered very powerful speeches to the crowds which were assembled at Versailles. Now the other leader, Abbassies, now he was a priest, so he belonged to the clergy. So you see, the leaders of the National Assembly, both of them, one belonged to the first estate and the other belonged to the second estate. So even there were some people in the first estate and the second estates, those people who were really with a new mind, and those who thought that privileges should not be based on birth but they should be on merit. So there were people even in the first estate and second estate who sided with the people of the third estate. And so Abbassies, he was originally a priest, and he also wrote an influential pamphlet which was called as What is the Third Estate. So National Assembly leader, Mirabeau and Abbassies. Mirabeau, who was born in nobility, and Abbassies, he was a priest. Okay. So now during this time, National Assembly, they have said that they will not move from there till the time that they had made a new constitution through which the powers of the monarch would be limited. And so while the National Assembly, they were busy at Versailles and they were drafting this constitution, now the rest of France at this time, they were seethed with turmoil, means they were deep in trouble. Now let's see what happened, why they were so troubled. There was a severe winter. Now what does severe winter means? If the winter is very severe, that means bad harvest was not good, and as a result, what happened? The prices of bread rose. And many times what happens, whenever there's any commodity which is in scarcity, so the people who are involved, they exploit this situation, and what they do, they hoard supplies. Now what is the main principle behind it? That okay, today we are hoarding, and when the prices will rise even further, then we will sell it. So the bakers, they often exploited this situation and hoarded the supplies. The supplies were already less, prices were rising high, And now what they did, they started hoarding, all right, in the hope that the prices will rise further. And so what happened as a result, that even after spending long hours in queues, in lines, waiting at the bakery, they women, they were not getting bread. And so crowds of angry women, they stormed into the shops, the baker shops, to get bread. And at the same time, this time now coincides with the time that we started the chapter with, the first page. At the same time, the king, he ordered troops to move into Paris. And we have already read that on 14 July, the angry crowd, they stormed and they destroyed the Bastille. Now, so Bastille stormed, people in bad condition, food grains, they were not able to get bread, they were not able to get, and the prices of bread, they also rose. So this was in the city. We are talking about Paris. Now let's see what happened in the countryside, in the village side. So in the countryside, rumors spread. Now if we are talking about rumors, then rumors could be true, they could not be true. So rumors spread from village to village, that the lords of the manor, means their feudal lords under whom these people worked. So it was rumored that these lords, they have hired bands of brigands. Now who are brigands? Robbers, gangsters. So rumor spread that the lords of the manor, or their feudal lords, they have hired gangsters or robbers. And now they were on their way to destroy the ripe crop. And people, they were caught in a madness of fear. They were afraid. Already they were not getting food grains, and now if the whole crop was destroyed, then what will they do? So peasants in many districts, what they did, they seized whatever farming implements they could took hold of, like hoes and pitchforks, and they attacked the chateaus. See, what is a chateau? Chateau is a castle or a stately residence, a huge residence belonging to a king or a nobleman. And so, people, the farmers, whatever farming equipment they could get hold of, hoes or pitchforks, and they attacked the chateaus. And they looted the hoarded grain, burned down the documents which contained a record of their dues. And a large number of nobles, because of all of this, they fled from their homes, and many of them, they even migrated to the neighboring countries. Means the nobles, they got so afraid that these peasants would kill us. So they were so afraid that they migrated, they fled to neighboring countries. Now, so Louis XVI, now people, his subjects were revolting against him. And so finally he gave recognition to this body, National Assembly, and accepted that, okay, from now onwards my powers would be checked by a constitution. And so on the night of 4th August 1789, the assembly, means the National Assembly, they passed a decree, means they passed an order. And according to this order, they abolished the feudal system. They abolished the feudal system of obligations and taxes, means the earlier system according to which they had to pay feudal dues, and they had to work on on the fields of their laws and in their houses, and they even had to fight for him. So now all this was abolished, and members of the clergy, means member of the church, they were also forced to give up the privileges that they had. So tithes were abolished. Now no longer the church could take tithes, and the lands which were owned by the church, even they were confiscated. So they were also seized. And as a result, the government, they acquired assets, means lands and all. So they acquired as lands and houses, all right, chateaus and all that. And so the government acquired assets worth at least 2 billion livres. Understood this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is all the time we have for today. and we'll continue when we
Thank
meet
you,
next
ma'am.
time.